Hello crypto boys and ghouls, and welcome back to the channel, Tales from the Cryptomancer, where we feature content on play-to-earn games on the blockchain such as Splinterlands. And in today's video I wanted to talk about DEC and specifically go into a little bit of a DEC deep dive, talking about an interesting question that I had on what happens after the SPS airdrop ends, because we certainly know that the DEC printing machine has been in overdrive pretty much since the start of the SPS airdrop, and it's going to continue for approximately another 3 months printing DEC. And we've seen DEC values go up quite high and also recently come down a little bit closer to peg. But what we do know for sure is that once the SPS airdrop ends, the value of DEC in the market loses a lot of attractiveness, and more than likely the price of DEC that's sitting in all these liquidity pools earning double airdrop points for SPS expires as soon as the SPS airdrop ends. So what happens to all of that DEC? Does it get liquidated on the market as people rush to find any type of value that they can get? Does it fall below peg of 0.001, and if so, how far would it fall? Well, the Splinterlands dev team has said they want to make a DEC a stable coin with a stable value of 0.001 for its peg, and they want to back it up by assets in the game. And the initial indication was that DEC would be backed up by Chaos Legion packs in the store as a way for 4,000 DEC to buy one Chaos Legion pack, which has a value of $4 in the market. Well, of course, the question becomes come July, will there be enough Chaos Legion packs in the market or in the store to absorb the total DEC that might be liquidated after the SPS airdrop ends? And if not, well, that's one question. And the second question would be, if not, what other assets would be available that Splinterlands would sell at the DEC peg? Well, before we answer the second question, let's see if we can answer the first question, being, is there too much DEC printed right now versus possibly Chaos Legion packs available when the SPS airdrop ends? Let's see where those numbers intersect. So if we go to the next slide here, what I want to talk a little bit about is some of the data that I was able to find around DEC. The first piece is Hive Engine. Hive Engine is showing us a 3.8 billion current supply of DEC with a total of a 9 trillion max supply. And let's take a look at that data. And I'll certainly provide links in the description of this video for some of this information should you wish to look at it on your own. And we can see here the DEC token information, where we see the circulating supply, the total supply available, including what's in the liquidity pools, and the max supply. Another area where we can try and find information on DEC circulation and supply is from Peak Monsters, specifically the Peak Monsters top holders dashboard. And that dashboard is showing a 4.274 billion DEC token current supply. And let's take a look at that. So here we see the 4.274 billion token supply of DEC from Peak Monsters. So now that we know what the total supply is, we can use as a baseline. We'll use for this study the larger number, 4.274 billion, coming from Peak Monsters. It would be good to understand how much DEC is sitting in liquidity pools out there that may be moved out of those liquidity pools and into the market, either for sale within Splinterlands at the peg price or just on the market in general. So if we look at tribal DEX pairs of liquidity pools from tribal DEX, and we can see that there's a number of pools available: Swap Hive, SPS, B, Swap.eth, Pizza, Voucher, and the SUFB token. It's a total of 1.267 billion DEC tokens with an approximate market value right now at current prices of $1.849 million. And we'll take a look here. That's what shows from Tribal DEX itself. which is the screen right here showing all the DEC liquidity pool pairings. But if we look at peak monsters, the top holders, we see the SL Hive holdings of Splinterlands at 1.61 million DEC. So we'll use that for the data moving forward. Additionally, we see that PancakeSwap or Cub DeFi has 146.23 million DEC in its liquidity pool of the BUSD DEC pairing, so approximately $213,000 at current pricing. And there's other non-liquid holdings within the Peak Monsters dashboard of 1.017 billion, which is approximately $1.49 million worth of DEC. And that happens to sit in the SPL or Splinterlands cold wallet, the TerraBlock BSC bridge, the SPL dynamic account, the TerraBlock ETH bridge, the Splinterlands ETH bridge, the Splinterland token converter, the Tron bridge, and the SPL corporate account. Now that leaves what's left to be held by players either in-game or elsewhere, and that's 1.5 billion DEC, or approximately $2.199 million worth of DEC. Now, if we break this out in a chart, you can kind of see the DEC breakdown as well as the dollar figure breakdown between the Hive liquidity pools, the Binance Smart Chain liquidity pools, the non-liquid DEC assets that aren't going to necessarily move out of pools when DEC hits peg or falls below peg because it's required for DEC to function. Then we have the player holdings of DEC as well. Now, if we ask ourselves, what if DEC were to drop below the peg value? And let's say in a scenario like that, let's say it drops to 0.0007 at some point in the market, what could happen? Well, people may pull out of liquidity pools after the airdrop ends, if that were to happen. And let's say for this hypothetical example, 50% of all liquid DEC in liquidity pools or held by players is transferred and used to buy Chaos Legion pack at a stable value. So if the market says DEC is worth less than 0.001, Splinterlands says no problem, bring your DEC to us. For every 4,000 DEC you bring us, we'll give you one Chaos Legion pack, which is valued at $4. Well, if 50% of all DEC that is liquid and in either players' hands or liquidity pools, what it would mean, if you do the math, is 407,076 total Chaos Legion packs would be sold at that point in time, which in the grand scheme of things, when we have over 6 million packs remaining as of the beginning of May here, that doesn't seem too bad. But let's look at this, the worst case scenario. Remember, Peak Monsters top holders dashboard showed 4.274 billion DEC tokens available currently. And let's say worst case scenario happens, 100% of all DEC out there is used to buy packs at the stable value. What would that mean? Well, even in worst case scenario, it would mean 1,068,500 total Chaos Legion packs would be sold and redeemed. And that assumes that the Chaos Legion packs are still a desirable commodity at a $4 price point, meaning that the underlying cards correlate to a $4 pack pricing, and enough Chaos Legion packs remain available for sale within the Splinterlands store. If that's the case, and we sell 1 million Chaos Legion packs, well, the EC is, stabilized. Now, these numbers and these examples don't account for DEC inflation between now until the end of the SPS airdrop in July. Obviously, more DEC is printed every day, so this number will go up over the next 3 months. We'll need to keep an eye on it, but it looks like, given that we have over 6 million Chaos Legion packs still available for sale, that the Splinterlands store could absorb a DEC market crash at the moment. The question would become again that we have to ask ourselves as we get closer to July, If the DEC numbers are much higher and the Chaos Legion pack availability is much lower, at some point we could reach a intersection in the graph, so to speak, that says, hey, there's not enough Chaos Legion packs to back up the stable value of this coin. Splinterlands, what are you going to do? So let's see what they do, what investment or asset in the game for Splinterlands they add potentially in the future to stabilize the Chaos Legion, or excuse me, the DEC value. We'll have to see, but the good news here, by doing all this math for you, if you stuck around this long, the good news here is that it looks like the numbers are such that even though there's a ton of DEC in the market, even if all was liquidated in a worst case scenario, we should still be okay from a Splinterlands economy perspective. So hopefully this has been insightful or informational. If it has, please smash the like button. Consider subscribing to the channel for more timely content on Splinterlands. And until next time, keep stacking those stats.
That's entertainment.